Hey, let's start with the rigging process. So here we have the car file and each and every layer is hidden right now. So I've divided the parts of the body according with the names and tag them in their particular layers. For example, the bumper layer is here. That is the old car's bumper layer. That means the default car that will be visible at first, and then corresponding to it there's the new bumper layer. So what we'll do is we'll first of all make this old bumper layer hide using this controller, and simultaneously we'll make the new bumper layer visible just as this controller moves from left to right. So this would be our aim here. So what we can do is we'll check the mid value, that would be I guess 3.5, and till 3.5 the old bumper parts will be starting to be hidden, and the new bumpers parts should start to come in visibility. So for that what we can do is we'll use set driven key, and we'll use the cut faces tool, and we'll key the mainly like the transformation, scaling and visibility using set driven key. So let's start the process. So this is the old bumper key, old bumper layer. First of all what we'll do is we'll take this value to 0. We'll select all the objects, we'll delete history if there is any, center pivot and freeze transform. And then what we'll do is we'll open the animation key, animation window, animation tab, and then we'll go to set driven key and we'll choose set. This will open the set driven key menu. So here what we can do is we'll take this circle as the driver, take a particular part like this one as the driven. So here what we'll do is we'll make this part be hidden using the cut faces tool. Maybe cut faces tool is a good option to do that. So we'll go to the cut faces tool by choosing edit mesh and use cut faces tool. So we'll put a cut face over here outside the geometry, and we'll press W. We'll minimize the set key for a minute. We'll make this visible. So we've got an input named polycut1. Now what we can do is we'll press Ctrl A. We'll go to the polycut1. We'll tick the option of delete faces. We'll come back to the polycut1 input. We'll check the axis. So the axis might be y-axis, but I guess there was some problem with the model, and this y-axis is acting like the z-axis. So we'll check with the y-axis first. Yes, the y-axis works perfectly. So the complete value is 0.188. That will be the first key, and the second value would be I guess 0.588. Okay, that would be the second key. So I'll press Ctrl Z. Now we'll open the Seductivity menu. But here you can see that there is no option to key these inputs. So for that, what we'll do is we'll press Ctrl A. We'll select this tab, Polycart 1, and to select this tab, we'll go to this tab and press Select. After pressing Select, we'll select the Polycut 1 tools attributes. So for loading them in the driven, we'll choose load driven. So now we have these attributes over here. So now we can work with it. So the first key, this is at 0, and the polycut center Y is at 0, is at its default value, that is 0.188. So we'll press key, that was the x-axis. and we'll press key. Now we'll move it a bit forward and take it to 0.588. 0.588. Press enter and press key. So now you can see the objects comes and goes. Okay. So at this point, the visibility of this part, I mean this part, which part? This part, should also be 0, so that these leftover parts do not come to be visible. So what we'll do is we'll select this part and say load driven, go to visibility and say, so this first of all we'll check the value. This is 0.256, so 256, we'll remember this value and we'll set a key at the value 0. Notice visibility is 1 at the value of 0. So we'll press go to visibility, and this is key. And then what we'll do is we'll go to the transfer text, we'll put the value 0.256 and we'll put the value of visibility to 0. So now what happens is it works perfectly fine. Sorry, I just didn't press key over it. I'll go to visibility, I'll check it, I'll put it 0 and I'll press key. And now I'll see it. Okay. Yeah, I guess the key is working a bit earlier. Oh, visibility is still on. I'll break connection. I'll go to 0. I'll go to 0. Selecting the object, visibility be 1, and I press key. I'll select the object again. Go to 0.256, 1.256, and I'll press 0. I'll press key. So well, what happens here is that computer takes the average value of this 0 and 2.56 and switches the visibility off at the midpoint of these values. So to correct this situation, what we can do is we'll go to 255, that is 0.255. We'll go to this object and we'll make the visibility 1 till this point and set a key. So now what happens is that only at 2.256 the visibility goes 0. Other than that, the cut faces tool works perfect. So this is how the first part of this object will be rigged. And symmetry should be maintained. So for that, I'll check this box also and make it maybe I don't know if I can make it work as this object only. So for that I'll try to make a child parent. So I'll select this one and shift P and P. So now what we'll see what happens. Well, nothing happens. So what we can do is we'll rig this part also just as this one also, this one. So that I'll do afterwards. Okay, so now let's start with this part. So this part is moving like from this to upwards. So what we can do is we'll make this part moves sideways from here to this place like this. So for that what we can do is I'll go to the set driven key option. First of all, I'll place the cut faces tool here. So selecting this path, I'll go to edit mesh. I'll go to cut faces tool and I'll place it over here and press W. So I've got the input. I'll go to Control A, polycut tool, delete faces, and I'll go to Control A. I'll check the axis. This is the translate X axis, so this would be the cut plane X. So this works perfectly. Now I'll go to Control A. I'll select this tool. I'll take it as load driven, load driver. It's saying the translate X. So but now this time we'll start after half of this object has been hidden. So now this time Control A, the point should take 0.1 to make it round, 0.1, and this will be the default value or the starting value for this object. So I'll be selecting the translate X, go to center X, and I'll make it key. And afterwards, after this object is finished like this, after some time like this much, I'll make this objects control, this one, go completely off the line. Yeah, 0.847. I'll press key. Now what happens is both the objects don't get hidden at the same time. It takes a bit of time after this object has to be like hidden. See that? And don't worry about the look and feel, because this rigging will look best only when there is more much of a chaotic type of transformation. Okay, so let's take it to 0. And these are the two parts that would be like rigged, so I'll do the other half afterwards. So now let's finish this part also. So for this one was going like from lower to upwards. So now let's take this from upwards to downwards. Okay, so for that what we can do is we'll select the object, we'll go to edit mesh, we'll go to cut faces tool, we'll place the cut faces somewhere above this object. I've got the input, we'll press Control A, we'll go to delete faces, we'll go to Control A. So what you see is after putting the cut faces tool above the object, the initial state is at 0. So what we can do is we'll take this circle, we'll take it like this much, maybe this much, and we'll then press the key so that the final stage is defined here as invisible. So for that what we'll do is we'll select our polycut, sorry, Control Z, we'll select this object, we'll go to Control A, we'll select the polycut tree, select, we'll load it in driven, we'll press Control A. So we have this object now. So this is by default, this is invisible, so we'll go to translate Y, and as you can see the default value is 0.92, and by decreasing the value the object appears. So we'll key it here, sorry, selecting this object, polycut tree here, translate Y, and we'll select this one, take it maybe like to this place, and I'll press key. Now I'll take the circle to 0, go to this one and decrease the value. Right. this much, and I'll press key. So now what happens is this, by moving the circle, this part goes off, then this part, after some time this part. Okay, so after this what we'll do is we'll make this new layer visible. Okay, so first of all we'll take these objects, or maybe not. So what we'll do is, now we know that at this point, at 0.18, the lower part of the bumper should be visible at till 0.18. So we'll take it to 0 now, and we'll open the new bumper, this one, this part. So now we'll do the same history, center pivot, freeze transform, and now what we'll do here is, we see that this object, this one here, should be visible at 0.18 of the circle and should be invisible at 0. So for that what we'll do is we'll choose maybe the cut faces tool again. We'll go to edit mesh, we'll go to cut faces tool, we'll put it here. So I got cut faces tool input as polycut 4. I'll press Ctrl A, I'll go to delete faces, I'll press W, and I'll go to Ctrl A again. Now I'll select this cut faces tool 4 and I'll put it in the driven, and this at 0, at 0 of this nerve circle, this cut faces tool should be at 0. Okay, so we'll take it like this, downwards like this, put it till this place. Okay, so we'll enter y 0, 0. This is still this much, and I'll key it, there is 0, 0, and key. Okay, so till maybe 0.18 I said na, so 0.15, maybe 0.123, let this part be invisible. So for that we'll press it again, the key, and after just that one, like till this plus, let this part come invisibility. Okay, and I press key. Now what happens is, first of all this hood, this part goes invisible, and after some time this part comes visible. Okay, so and this part is also visible, the inner one. So we'll key this one also. So at frame 0, I mean this one, at this control 0 value, this part of the new bumper is also at a 0 visibility value. So for that what we'll do is we'll press a cut mesh tool, press it somewhere like here, Control A, delete faces. So this is at 0 right now. Okay, select this one, hold cut face file got driven. That was in the x-axis, the center x, and then key. So when this part goes invisible, and maybe like till this part, maybe till this part, this bottom part of the new layer should be invisible, and after this the part should come invisibility. So I'll press key again till this part is like invisible, and after this till maybe here this part will be completely visible. So for that I'll select this polycut one, control A, and make this visible. Okay, like this, and key. Now what happens is, okay, the old part goes and the two new parts take over. Then let's move to the third new part, that is this one. So it should be invisible till this time, since this old part is visible till this time. So it should be invisible like this. So for that what we'll do is we'll select this object, the new one, this is the new one. Okay, we'll go to edit mesh, choose the cut face tool, we'll maybe press it over here. I go to control A, I'll select delete faces. So this is invisible right now. Okay, I'll select this polycut, uh, put it in the driven. Now after putting it in the driven, I'll check it was the y axis, so I'll choose the cut face, cut plane center y, translate x right now, and I'll put a key. So after this object starts going, and till this part the new part should be visible. So we'll go to this one, I'll press Ctrl A, I'll make it visible. Okay, this becomes visible. I'll press key. So now what happens is, this was the old car, and transformation takes place, and the new parts come. Okay, so after that the next part. So this is the new next part, and here it should be invisible till this time. So for that I'll go to edit mesh, cut faces tool, I'll put a cut face over here, go to control A, I'll go to delete faces, to control A, and I'll get into the X1, and I'll make it invisible right now. So this is invisible right now. Okay, and I'll select this polycut 7 selected, and I'll make it the driven. I go to this one and selecting everything, I go to key, and after this goes off the visibility, after this part goes off the visibility till maybe like this point, and keep the cut, the seventh polycut 7 hidden, and after this like till this much time I'll select this one, and I'll make it visible. I'll press key. So now what happens is, this is the old car, this goes off the visibility, and the new car appears. simultaneously. And this part has been left right now. So this part must be like working after, just after this part goes. So we'll add it in here. So maybe at this time, somewhere like this. We'll first of all check the behind part of this one goes off when, yeah, this time. So that part should be invisible till this time. Go to new bumper, select this part and make the center pivot. I'll put a cut face tool somewhere like here for this part. W, Control A, delete faces, Control A. This part should be invisible right now. So for that, I'll go to X, make it invisible till this time. Okay, and I just have to add this cut 8 in the driven, translate X and key. So let it remain invisible till this time. Key again. After till this time, it should be visible. So for making it visible, we'll select cut 8 and press Ctrl A. We'll make it visible like this and press key. So this is how it works right now. Okay, one part goes and the other one takes place completely. And after all this finishes, we'll make these parts visible too. So till this time, we'll make these parts invisible. For that, we'll choose the edit mesh again and the cut faces. We'll put it over here like this. We'll press Ctrl A. We'll go to delete faces. Press W. Okay. Press W with it. Now what you can do is we'll make this part invisible right now. Okay, still this time. So we'll select this polycut 9 and go to dot driven. This is to translate X. I'll select this polycut 9, translate X and make it invisible right now. And we'll press key. Okay, key. So this is invisible till now. So after a bit of time, even this one goes. Press key. After this comes these two parts, like this one, this one. These two parts come onto visibility. After this comes in. So what we can do is we'll just make this part's scaling values key. So we'll take the center pivot, and what we'll do is we'll check till what time is this thing, like this much. Till this time, this scaling value of this value. So I'll put it in the driven. I'll go to the scaling values. I'll put it 0. I'll press key. So just after this thing goes from here like this, I'll go to this one. I'll put 1. I'll put key, and till that time simultaneously this thing also. So I'll press center pivot if I check the object axis, no, world axis. So what you can do right now here is we'll put a cut face tool, mesh, cut face tool here. Anyways, the above part. I'll press Ctrl A, delete faces. So this goes off the visibility. Maybe till like this part. This part, it should be off the visibility. So for that, I just have to press Ctrl Z. So we'll select the polygon 10. I'll press the load driven. Okay. So just a bit backwards, like this much. So this where the cut Y should be keyed, should be invisible of the cylinder going from this place to this place. So after just a little time, this control, this cut plain white center must be complete. Okay, like this. I'll put a key over here. Same as with this couple of objects, these couple of objects. So I'll go to this one. So this object should be invisible till this time. So I'll select the load driven. I'll go to scaling. I'll choose it to be 0. I'll press key, and just after this passes from this place, like this, I'll select this and I'll put the key to be 1. And same as with the cylinder, I'll go to the cut faces tool. I'll put like this. Okay, and after this part is selected, and I'll go to delete faces, so it is invisible right now. I'll select this cut face, and then I'll make it load driven, the translate Y. I'll take it a bit backwards like this much, and I'll put a key. Then when it finishes, I'll select this one and I'll make a complete, and then it key. So now what happens is, this is the starting of the object, then this one goes like this. I don't know what went wrong with this particular small cube here. So this is how it works. I'll correct it in the afterwards. So this is how the front bumper works. Okay, like this, one part to another.